Hello everyone and welcome back to Love English. I'm Sabrah, your British University English teacher. Now I have a little bit more of a serious lesson for you today, but one that is going to be very helpful if you're using English in your working life or if you're using English in an academic context, so perhaps you need a more formal style of English. Now, when it comes to business English, there are so many specific phrases that are very relevant and very used just in the workplace or again in an academic context. So, for example, with your professor, with your classmates at university, at college, and things like that. Although I'm a teacher, I have a background in marketing and PR as well. So I've put together a list of 12 of some of the most common expressions used in a business or a formal context. As always guys, if you haven't already, then don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell if you want to be notified when we upload a lesson. And also guys, you can follow us on our Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. And if you'd like to be part of the Love English Club, then you can support us on Patreon. Right, let's get down to it. Number one is something is on the back burner, or to put something on the back burner. And this means that something has been delayed or postponed because circumstances have changed. So at work, frequently, your priorities will change because you get new work in and the thing you were working on at the time is not as urgent as the new assignment perhaps that has come in or the new customer that has come in. So you will put the work you were doing before on the back burner. So an example sentence would be, since we spent all the money on designing a new office, we've had to put plans to get more staff on the back burner. Number two is to be up against it or to be under the cosh. And both of these mean that you're under pressure, you're working to a deadline. So you might hear people at work saying, oh, I'm really up against it with this report. I've got 2 days, I need to finish it, I'm really up against it. So you're facing a challenge or you're in a slightly difficult situation, particularly where pressure is involved. So if you hear a friend of yours saying, sorry, I haven't been in touch recently, I've just been really up against it, or I've been under the cosh at work, they mean they've been really busy. They just haven't had a lot of spare time. They've been quite pressured. Number three is booming. If we say that business is booming, we mean business is doing exceptionally well. It's doing really well. There's a boom. It means things have really taken off. However, if we say something has gone bust, this is the opposite. So you'll often hear business analysts and read in the Financial Times and things like that, phrases like boom and bust. So bust is where a business has actually gone bankrupt. So it's no longer operating as a business because it hasn't worked out and sadly it's had to close. So it's gone bust. Now, an example sentence using booming would be, we can afford to spend more on new franchises at the moment because business has been booming.
We in the killing Nazi business, and cousin, businesses are booming.
Oh yeah.
Number four is to close the deal, which means to formally finish negotiations, to reach an agreement. So many people in business will talk about the need to close the deal. And this means the need to finalize negotiations, to reach a final agreement, contract signed, and then it's done. The deal is done. So often businesses will describe members of their team, if they're particularly good at getting the contract signed and getting everything finished, they will call that person a good closer, somebody who's very good at closing the deal.
Get them to sign on the line which is dotted. Always be closing. Always be closing.
Number five is to have many irons in the fire. To have many irons in the fire. This often describes Leila and I's working life. This means to have several projects running simultaneously, so running at the same time, and means you're very busy and you have to divide your attention between those different things. So people often talk about having too many irons in the fire. So to have monopoly means to actually have dominance in a particular market or in a particular area. For example, you could say McDonald's still have the monopoly in the fast food restaurant area. They're probably still the most popular. They're a market leader, if you like, and they probably still have the highest revenue share when it comes to burgers and fries and those kind of restaurants. I think they probably still have the highest revenue share in that area, which means they have the monopoly, and in some ways the other restaurants have to copy them, copy their prices, copy the kind of things that they are doing and try to compete with them, but they will still have the monopoly. A monopoly is a business and marketing term which describes a particular kind of market. It's the opposite to an oligopoly. I want to go into these specific terms in another video I am making on business and marketing terms. So that's a good incentive, guys, for you to wait and watch the next one to find out what they actually mean in terms of economics and business. Number 8 is to touch base. And if we say we want to touch base or I'll touch base with you, we mean I'll catch up with you. Very, very common in work to hear somebody saying, okay, we'll touch base tomorrow. Can we touch base tomorrow about that? Meaning, can we catch up about that? Can we speak about that? So it's kind of a business way or a work way of saying, let's catch up. To touch base can be quite brief, because to touch base is like to check in almost with someone. An example sentence would be, I touch base with Leila a couple of times a week to talk about our plans for Love English and things like that, and also to see how she is. We touch base a couple of times a week. Number 9 is to be on track. To be on track. Now, a track is something that a train goes across. So if you're on track, you're going in the right direction. Imagine the train going along that track in the direction it's intending to go. I'm not behind, nothing's going wrong, so I'm on track. I'm heading in the right direction. We can also say something is on the right track, meaning it's going very well, it's going in the right direction. If we say something is off track, of course, this means that something's gone a little bit wrong or got a bit delayed. So if we say, we've gone a bit off track here, meaning we've kind of lost a bit of the project or we've perhaps got a bit behind, something like this. So an example sentence would be, the development work for the new housing project is on track. Number 10, this is such a common work expression. To learn the ropes, to learn the ropes. And this means to learn how to do your task, your job, or an activity. So to learn how to do it, really. So of course, when you first join, there's a lot to learn and you need to learn how to do it, how things operate, who to speak to about certain things, to learn the ropes. It of course comes from the Navy and sailing, where you had to learn your different rope ties and how to operate the ropes and everything like that. So your boss might say, don't give the new intern too much to do. She's still busy learning the ropes. Number 11 is again super common. It is to be brought up to speed or to bring someone up to speed. So it can be active or passive, depending who is doing the bringing up to speed. Now, to bring someone up to speed means to fill someone in on everything that's been going on up until the current point. So imagine they were on holiday or they haven't been at work for a while or they've been working on a different project. They will need to find out what has been going on with that project in the time that they have missed. All of the background of the project and everything they need to know in order to take off from that point, in order to begin from that point. So your boss might say, can you bring him and her up to speed on that? Can you fill her in on everything we've been doing so she's ready to continue from there? Number 12, the last one, is a learning curve. A learning curve, which of course would go like this. When you start a new job or you start university or college or something like that, at the beginning there is a lot to learn. So we will talk about something being a learning curve, meaning usually the learning continues and goes upwards. If you have to learn a lot in a short period of time, we can often say that something has a big learning curve or a steep learning curve. So at the beginning you might say, I'm learning a lot, I feel it's quite a challenge. It's a steep learning curve or a big learning curve, meaning you're finding it a little bit hard, but you're getting there. Day by day, you're learning more and you're adding to your skills. So a learning curve.
Well, I think the best way of putting it, it's a steep learning curve for our players.
So learning these idioms, guys, is going to really increase your understanding of phrases that are used in the workplace, but also you're going to improve your speaking, because if you use them, you're going to sound more natural and a bit more professional because you're using the right kind of phrases, the specific phrases that are very useful in the workplace or in formal situations. Right, everybody, we have come to the end of our business English expressions. I hope this was useful. Please do tell me if you would like to learn more about business English and perhaps more specific terms in business and things like that. And of course, guys, please try and use any of these phrases in a sentence below in the comments, and I will check those for you. I wish you all a great week. I hope business is booming, and I'll touch base with you soon. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.